What's up, traders? Gates Adams here, the Forged Trader. I have not done one of these in a while, and look, I've been missing it. But I'll tell you why I haven't done one in a while is I have been working on something that I'm just super stoked about, but it has had so much of my attention over the course of the last couple of months. In addition to that, over the last couple of months, honestly, I haven't been doing great. Not that that would stop me from doing content, but I think the lack of focus and the lack of payouts sort of has gone hand in hand, if we're being real honest. So as I've kind of gotten through this process, I have definitely been more refocused on what I need to be doing for my trading, right? And ultimately, it has been fruitful. I will show you. I just requested another payout. I have 20 accounts now, $20,000, $50,000 accounts with Apex Trader Funding. And I actually requested a payout on all of them. I know some of you think there's some home cooking going on. There's not. As you can see, on 7 of those, I did get denied. I broke a rule. I mean, it wasn't intentional, but it was factual. And ultimately, I had to accept the fact that I got the denial, but I also got paid out on 13 accounts. So it was really hard to bitch about it. I know some people will find any reason, but that's not me, at least not me lately. So it's been a wild month, and I'll tell you what I've been working on. So if you've been listening to the Forged Trader podcast from the beginning, I started the podcast before I ever got paid out, like almost a year before I got paid out. And the whole idea was I had these ideas of what it would take for me to finally find success as a trader after almost 30 years, right? And what I did was I took concepts from a coaching program that I had been in. I've talked about this multiple times, Wake Up Warriors, great program, but it was not trading specific. So what I did was I took the concepts from that and sort of filtered them in a way to apply them very specifically to trading. Now, that all started about, May-ish of last year of 2024. And I got my first payout March of 2025. And since then, I'm now with this last payout that just got approved, I'm up to about $76,000 this year in payouts. Again, I don't say this to, I always feel the need to do this caveat. I don't know why I feel the need to do it. It just feels a little dirty. It's not. It's intended to be inspiring and motivational, not, hey, look at me, right? But I also have a deep desire to share with you guys what I've been doing and how I've managed to do this. And so what I've been up to the last couple of months is I have been working on developing an app, which basically is what I wanted so that I could track my progress as a trader. How am I doing it? Committing to just certain disciplines in my life, not necessarily trading disciplines, but just general disciplines. And, I broke it down in the early days to body, being, balance, and business, which was, physical, spiritual, relationships, and money. Yeah, I like my brand, so I changed it into Forge. So it's fortify your body, optimize your mind and spirit, relate with purpose, grow your wealth, and execute daily. So to me, that has sort of been my model of how I keep track of, am I putting in the work? Am I doing what I should be doing? And guess what? While I was spending hours upon hours upon hours building an app, what I wasn't doing was following all of these things. And guess what? I also wasn't getting any payouts. The other thing that I built was an AI coach. And I actually have it up to 5. I call this the crucible because, again, sticking with the branding. But I have 5 crucibles that I do now. I have my pre-trade crucible, which is, to me, that is a non-negotiable. I do this before I trade every day. If I don't do it, I don't trade, at least if I'm following within my rules. I have a post-trade crucible, which is where I review the day. Now, this is not a trade journal. This is not where you're going over specific trades, but this is where you're going over kind of how the day unfolded emotionally, mentally, as far as consistency. So it just reviews what happened over the course of that day. I have a tilt crucible. If you go on tilt, this is a great way of just purging and reframing the day, and taking a lesson from it, I think more important than anything. It does go pretty deep. It is pretty intense. And I'm not going to lie. Sometimes it's made me cry as I'm sitting there processing things that are very important and meaningful to me. And then I have an identity crucible. This is for me, like if I've been working on a specific thing, like getting rid of FOMO. Anytime I have an experience where I was very tempted to get into a trade when I shouldn't and I didn't, I want to go to the identity crucible and I want to reinforce this as part of my identity, not just something that I did. And then I have a what I call the origin crucible. And this is really not necessarily trading specific, but so much of how we view the world around us, to include how we trade and how we operate as traders, comes from stories that have developed in childhood and we've never outgrown them. So 7-year-old me has a lot of stories about who and what I am and what I'm capable of. And then there's a whole lot of 4.5 decades of my life that has been ignored because that story is more important to me to hold on to. And so I've created this as a means of sort of breaking that story down, identifying cracks in the story and where it's not true, so that I don't have this belief. When I have this belief, I'm going to operate within the framework of that belief. When I can crack and break that belief apart, I have the mental freedom, specifically through my subconscious, to operate outside of that framework. And it's been really, really meaningful and helpful. And in a couple months of building this and a few weeks of actively executing this, the net result is 20 accounts, 20 payout requests, only 13 approved. But I'm starting to see a big shift. This is not a sales pitch. This will be made available at some point, and this is not really what this is about. This is about taking that time to look at who you are as a trader, what serves you and what doesn't. And that's what I've been able to do through all of this. I created this app because it's what I wanted for me. It would be obnoxious for me to create it, tell you about it, and never make it available. It's not going to be a high dollar anything, right? But something that I've got a handful of people working with and getting some case studies and seeing how other people respond to it as well. Because none of this does any good if you're not honest with yourself, or if you're not truthful to how everything went. Like I had an almost $15,000 update today across the 20 accounts. I was up about $740 per account, and all of my accounts are over the payout threshold. So assuming I don't lose those profits, that's money in the bank. I just have to get to my 8 trading days, right? This is the first time I've been in this position as a trader. Now, today didn't go perfectly for me. In fact, I broke one of my fundamental rules early, right after doing my pre-trade crucible, which is not a glowing endorsement of my activities. However, I was able to sort of clean everything up and get through and actually ended up trading really, really well throughout the rest of the day. And most people would take a day like this. I posted something the other day where I had another good day, but there was still a lesson in it. It's something that I didn't do the way that I would have wanted to do, that didn't really meet my rule set, or I can't really claim I followed my consistency in doing that. And it was another day very similar to this. I think it was up $700 an account or something along those lines. And no, I think it was up about $400, almost $500 an account. So it's like a $9,000 day. And so often it's just so easy to say, hey, I had a kick-ass day today. I'm not really going to go through the review process. And I think a lot of times those are where I get the biggest lessons. So whether you follow along and you want more information on this when it becomes fully available, or you just take this as an opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to start looking at my trading day every day and really figuring out what's going right and what's not going right, so that I can ultimately become a stronger, better, more successful trader. Do the work, man. Look, trading, I just started a series today on the Trader Bacon Show where we're talking about treating trading like a business, right? So do the work, man. Yeah, you can get to the point as a trader where you can trade for 90 minutes a day and make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but that's after you've reached a level of mastery that you probably don't have right now. And if you do, hats off. I want to learn from you because I still am working on developing that mastery. But if you're not willing to do the work, if you're not willing to do the hard stuff, you'll never get to the easy stuff, right? My guest today, Alon, it's all about statistics. It's not the sexiest conversation on the planet, but the dude's got a spreadsheet that he has spent years working on, hired a programmer, developed because of the information he gets from statistics, and he now has a spreadsheet where he can plug in any instrument. He can look back 5,000 days, 7 years or so, and he can see if, he can plug in whatever parameters for his strategy, and he can see if his strategy is profitable on this particular instrument at the push of a button. That didn't just happen overnight, but now he's got several years of data showing that not only is the strategy profitable, but he's never hit a max drawdown that would blow his accounts. He had one account that was 347 trading days with Apex. Trading days, not weekends, not calendar days. So that's a couple years worth of trading on one PA. Can you claim the same? I can't. Not even close, right? I'm doing pretty well with these 20 PAs and I'm barely in double digits, right? So this is what it takes to get to the point where you can have those leisurely days, work for 90 minutes, and then go enjoy life, enjoy your family, enjoy whatever's meaningful to you. Or Lambos and hoes, whatever floats your boat, right? But the point is that it doesn't just happen because you spent 80% of your time working on strategy. You have to work on yourself. You have to treat this like a business, and that's what it takes. And that's what I'm working on every single day. That's why I started doing this series. I didn't do this series for all of you. I did it for me. But my hope is that all of you have an opportunity to get something out of it as well. So if you haven't seen it, check out today's episode of the Trader Bacon Show, November 17th, if you happen to see this video later. So November 17th, 2025 with Alon Barr. He's a great guy, and I got to tell you, we just scratched the surface. So he's agreed to come on to the Forge Trader podcast, and we're going to do a much more in-depth look at how he manages his stats and how he's been able to keep a successful trading account for almost 2 years. I mean, it's absolutely bonkers to me. He thinks that it might be the longest surviving PA in Apex history. I don't know. It may be. It may not be. I don't have access to that info, but I know it's fucking impressive. So anyway, check that out. Follow along. Make sure you check out the Forge Trader podcast when the next episode comes out. I'm hoping soon. Along with not doing these, I haven't been doing any podcast episodes either. So be sure to follow along. Subscribe to that, and you'll get notifications for new episodes on Spotify or iTunes. I also do post it on my Facebook page at The Forge Trader. So check all of that out. Let me know if you've gotten something out of this, and if there's anything else that you would like to see in terms of accountability and tracking and things like that. And if it's a reasonable thing to do, I'll see if I can build something into the app. I don't know. We'll see how that all pans out. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I love you all. Thanks for hanging with me. I know it's been forever since I've done one of these, and I probably went way too overboard on this one, but I'm excited to be sort of back in the mix of things, and can't wait to hear from you guys. Let me know how this is panning out for all of you. Talk to you guys soon.